Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Shelley.
And we're here to give Leadership Central Delaware a tour of the facility.
I serve as Executive Director. Shelley is one of our board members. Wendy, another member. We have about 46 or so members on our board. We received initial startup grant money through the Delaware Infrastructure Fund, about $4.2 million total. That money, that infrastructure money, is kind of what you see right now in terms of creating jobs and getting this project up and running. We received over $22 million in private bonds, which was financed through our partners at Wilmington Trust and M&T Bank. So there's a couple different models in terms of building a kind of a sports complex in a public project like this. You can obviously go through a commercial bank, but typically the bank wants a guarantee from the county, from the tax dollars. And that's just something we don't want to get into that relationship, putting pressure on tax dollars, utilizing tax dollars in that sense. So we really came up with a unique financing model of conduit bonding. So it's private bonds financed through Wilmington Trust. We received interest rates right now are historically low, about 3.5%. So we were able to lock in a low interest rate over a 30-year term. So what's nice is that we have a fixed payment schedule for our debt service. So every year, I can tell you what every year's payment's going to be from now until 30 years from now, as opposed to going through a commercial bank loan where you have to deal with potentially fluctuating interest rates and things like that. So we have, we received, conceptually speaking, we received kind of low interest bonds. So we have a 30-year payment term, and the revenues generated from the complex, the net revenues, will go back to paying the bonds. So it's pretty simple. Lacrosse recruiting events, showcases. What that does is college coaches come from all over the country. It's their recruiting time. So as opposed to running around the country and trying to go to different high school games and seeing kids, what they do is college coaches just attend large-scale tournaments like this, which bring tons of teams from all over the country, so they get to see all the athletes they want to see in kind of one shot. And for a lot of the tournaments that we plan to bring, average between anywhere 50 teams up to 200 club teams in a given weekend. It just depends on the size and scale of the event. And then we'll supplement our revenues by offering weekday programming. A lot of that's run by our own staff, DE Turf. If you guys saw the announcements a couple weeks back, we have hired directors of individual sports, soccer, field hockey, and lacrosse. And that's what these directors and myself are kind of putting together, is kind of what our internal programming is going to look like here at DE Turf. So a lot of new opportunities that aren't out there in the state right now to sign your kid up to play, particularly instructional training, specific training for specific positions and field positions. That we think is going to be really exciting, and again, to provide more opportunities for our youth to play. And Shelley, as Shelley mentioned, with the collaboration that takes place is it's seriously pretty incredible to see. A lot of municipalities across the country try to do this. They're trying to find ways to bring visitors to their areas, but in Kent County particularly, it's actually happening. So it's really quite remarkable to see not only the collaboration, but the perseverance too. And I think this whole story that we're standing on here, the whole turf, is really it's that toughness brought on by Shelley and the folks in Kent County that never gave up on this project. As you see across the street, we have some construction going on. It's the South Frederica Overpass, which is one of the overpass projects that are happening all up and down Route 1. The overpass project had caused some delays in the construction of this project here. Reprioritization of that, because what the overpass will allow is, as you're coming from the north, you're heading south, we'll actually have our own exit ramp. So you get off of Route 1, so beach traffic can continue to go down. You'll take an overpass that goes over Route 1 into our complex, something kind of like a CFL, like Christiana Mall. And that's going to allow safe entry, safe passage into and out of our complex. So a lot of the infrastructure costs really go to what's underneath the turf. It's not the actual turf itself. As the engineers have designed it, it's a French drain system, so it's perforated pipe. piping. So when rain hits, permeates through the turf, trickles down through about 9 inches of stone into our pipes, and gets kind of dispersed throughout. It ends up dumping kind of behind the trees on both sides.